The red sun of the planet Varelia hung low in the sky, casting long, distorted shadows across the jagged landscape. Captain Elias Kane adjusted his helmet and scanned the horizon. He had been sent on a reconnaissance mission, alone, to a planet that neither humans nor aliens had fully explored. Reports of strange energy readings and sudden skirmishes had reached the United Earth Command, and Elias' job was to find answers. The planet's surface was rough and uneven, covered in sharp rock formations that jutted like broken teeth. Dust swirled around him, caught in sudden gusts of wind. Elias checked his sensors again. There was movement ahead. He crouched behind a jagged rock and peered through the scope of his rifle. Two figures appeared in the distance, moving quickly. One was a humanoid, though taller and thinner than any human he had seen, with shimmering blue skin that reflected the sunlight. The other was smaller, running desperately to keep up. Elias' heart skipped a beat as he recognized the smaller figure. It was a human-sized humanoid, but her posture and the grace of her movements made it clear she was no ordinary soldier. Before he could decide what to do, the taller figure raised a weapon, a long, curved energy blade that pulsed with light. The smaller one fell to the ground with a cry of pain, and Elias knew he could not stand by. Without thinking, he sprinted forward, sliding behind the smaller figure. Blaster fire cut through the air, sparks scattering across the rocks. Elias raised his rifle and fired carefully, hitting the alien attacker's weapon and forcing it to spin away harmlessly. The alien growled, an inhuman sound that made the ground tremble slightly. Elias didn't wait. He grabbed the small figure and dragged her behind a rock for cover. "She's injured," he muttered, checking her condition. Her breathing was shallow, and her skin shimmered faintly under the dirt and scratches. Elias had never seen someone like her. Her hair floated slightly, as if it had its own energy, and her eyes large, violet, and luminous locked on him. "Thank you, human," she whispered in a voice soft but firm. Elias blinked. You're welcome, but we need to get out of here. Can you walk?" She tried to stand but collapsed again. He realized then that she could not move on her own. He hoisted her onto his shoulders, ignoring the burning in his muscles. The alien attacker had regrouped and was advancing. He needed a plan, and fast. Elias scanned the area. There was a narrow cave entrance nearby, hidden behind rocks. If they could reach it, they might find some temporary safety. He started running again, dodging energy blasts that left deep scorches in the rock. Behind him, the alien growled louder, frustration evident in its movements. The closer he got to the cave, the more Elias noticed how unusual this planet was. Strange glowing plants lined the path, pulsing with a soft light that illuminated the shadows. He had seen many planets in his service, but Varelia felt alive. Almost aware, almost. Judging him, finally, he reached the cave and ducked inside. Placing the injured alien princess, he assumed she was a princess by the way. She carried herself on a flat rock. He leaned against the entrance, rifle ready. The alien stopped at the mouth of the cave, its weapon raised. It seemed to hesitate, as if sensing something. "Not today," Elias muttered, squeezing the trigger. A precise shot hit the alien's weapon again, forcing it to drop to the ground. In a sudden surge, the alien roared and charged, but Elias was ready. He dodged, rolled, and aimed at the creature's legs, tripping it just long enough for it to stumble and flee back into the open plains. Elias exhaled. "That should buy us some time." The injured figure stirred slightly. "You saved me. You didn't have to. I couldn't just leave you," Elias said, brushing dirt from his armor. "Besides, I don't think they would have let me leave either way." She looked at him carefully, studying his face. Her eyes narrowed in curiosity and something he could not quite identify. Respect, perhaps. "You are different from what we expected. Humans, you're kind." She trailed off, wincing in pain. Elias nodded. "I get that a lot, but right now, I need to know your name and why they want you." "My name is Lyra," she said. "I am a princess of the Zeleri, and they want me dead or captured." Elias' brow furrowed. He had dealt with alien threats before, but never a royal one, and never someone like Lyra. Her calm tone in the middle of chaos intrigued him. He had always believed humans survived because of quick thinking, adaptability, and courage, but here was someone who seemed to embody calm and intelligence under pressure. 2. You're going to be okay, Elias said. He helped her to sit upright. We need a plan. They will come back, and probably stronger. Lyra studied him for a moment. There is a custom among my people. If someone saves my life, a bond is formed. A life bond. It cannot be broken by my people, or by me. Elias blinked, trying to understand. A bond? Yes, she said, wincing slightly as she shifted her weight. You are now bound to me. Until my journey is complete, you will stay by my side. Elias' mind raced. He had expected danger, but this was something entirely new. A life bond. He had no idea what that would entail. But one thing was clear: leaving her was not an option. Not anymore. The cave offered temporary shelter, but the sounds of the alien forces searching for Lyra echoed in the distance. Elias knew they had little time before the attackers returned in greater numbers. He began checking his gear, supplies, and the surrounding area. We need food, water, and a safe place to regroup, he said. And I need to figure out what this bond really means. Lyra nodded weakly. The elders of my people will explain. But it will take time. And trust. They will want to see your actions, your intentions. You must prove yourself. Human Elias smirked despite the tension. Well, proving myself is kind of my specialty. She looked at him curiously. You're kind. Always so confident, even in danger. That's because we survive, Elias said simply. We adapt, we fight, and sometimes we just do the right thing without thinking twice. A small smile appeared on Lyra's face. Faint but genuine. Elias noticed the first sign of hope in her eyes since they had met. In that moment, he realized that saving her was not just about duty or instinct. It was the beginning of something far bigger than himself. Something that could change the way humans and Zalari viewed each other. Hours passed. Elias kept watch while Lyra rested, keeping his senses alert for any signs of danger. The cave offered protection, but he knew it was only temporary. Eventually, they would have to leave, and the journey ahead would be perilous. Yet, for the first time, he felt a connection not just with Lyra, but with the possibilities of this unknown planet. When the red sun finally dipped below the horizon, casting a deep crimson across the sky, Elias spoke quietly. We'll survive this together. One step at a time. Lyra's eyes glimmered in the dim light. Yes. Together, outside, the wind howled across the rocky plains, carrying with it the distant sounds of alien footsteps. Elias adjusted his rifle and settled in for the night, aware that the first step of their shared journey had just begun, and that nothing would ever be the same again for Captain Elias Kane. A simple mission to assist had transformed into a bond that neither time nor circumstance could break. He had saved a life and, in doing so, had bound himself to the most important ally he would ever know, a princess of a faraway alien world. And the universe would never be the same. The cave smelled of damp stone and minerals, but for Captain Elias Kane, it was a small comfort. Outside, the wind swept across the jagged plains of Varelia, carrying the distant echoes of alien movement. The battle had ended for the day, but Elias knew it was far from over. He glanced at Princess Lyra, who rested on a flat rock, her luminous violet eyes slowly opening as she stirred. Though she looked fragile, there was a quiet strength in her posture. Elias had fought alongside soldiers and faced alien species before, but Lyra was different. Her calm in the face of danger was not just courage, it was strategy. She understood the battlefield even when her body was weak. Can you walk now? Elias asked gently, kneeling beside her. Lyra tried to rise but stopped, wincing. Not yet, she said. But soon. We must leave this place, my people. They will not rest until I am found. Elias nodded. I know. We'll find somewhere safer. Somewhere we can plan our next move. Lyra studied him carefully. Captain, you do not yet understand the significance of what has happened. By saving me, you have formed a bond. A life bond, Elias frowned. I don't understand. A bond? What do you mean? Lyra took a deep breath. Among the Zalari, it is an ancient custom. When a royal's life is saved, the savior is bound to them. Your actions, they are not simply a kindness or luck. You are now responsible for my life in ways beyond your understanding. And I am responsible to you as well. The bond cannot be broken. Elias' mind raced. He had heard of customs in alien cultures, but nothing like this. A bond he could not break? A responsibility that went beyond choice? So, what does that mean? He asked slowly. Am I stuck with you? Lyra shook her head gently. It is not punishment. It is a pact of honor. You are bound to protect me, yes, but it is also a recognition of your courage and skill. Your kind humans are known for ingenuity and bravery, but among my people, no human has ever formed such a bond with a royal. You have earned respect that others spend lifetimes trying to achieve. Elias swallowed, trying to process the enormity of it. He had wanted only to assist, to do the right thing in a dangerous situation. Yet somehow, his instincts had thrust him into a responsibility far greater than he had imagined. He leaned back against the cave wall, thinking, so, I saved your life, and now I have to stick around while you deal with your royal business? Lyra gave a small smile, faint but genuine. Not just stick around. You will be my ally, my protector, my guide when the world grows dangerous. The bond is a sign of trust. My people will recognize you for what you are. Human, yes, but exceptional. Elias chuckled softly, shaking his head. I've been called a lot of things, but exceptional is new. Guess I'll have to live up to it. Lyra's smile widened. I have no doubt you will. But there are challenges ahead, Captain. The pact binds us not only to each other, but also to the duties of my position. Political enemies will seek to exploit it. Forces will test your loyalty, your courage, your mind. You must be prepared. Elias adjusted his gear and tightened his straps. I've faced worse. Not this exact situation, but humans survive because we adapt. We find solutions where others see none. That's how I operate. So if there's danger, I'll handle it. Lyra's gaze softened. You speak of adaptability, but remember, you are on my world now. We do things differently here. Tactics, technology, strategy, they differ from your experience. Your human approach, it will surprise them. But you must also learn our ways. Elias nodded. I'll try. I promise. But you'll have to teach me. You will learn, Lyra said, her voice steady. And I will guide you. Together, we will navigate what lies ahead. But first, we need to move. Staying in this cave will only delay the inevitable. Outside, the sky was darkening. The red sun had disappeared, leaving a faint glow of distant stars. The wind carried faint noises, the scrape of claws, the hum of distant machines. Elias knew the alien forces would return, and they would be stronger. He helped Lyra to her feet. She leaned on him slightly, her strength returning slowly. Elias could feel the weight of responsibility in his chest, heavy but not unwelcome. He had trained for combat, for survival, but never for this kind of responsibility, where one life depended entirely on his skill and judgment. They moved carefully across the rocky terrain. Lyra led the way toward a narrow valley, explaining quietly as they walked. There is a place, a sanctuary, hidden from the eyes of my enemies. Only a few of my people know the path. If we can reach it, we will be safe. For a time, Elias followed, noting the subtle ways her body shifted. How her senses seemed sharper than any human he had encountered. She was a warrior in her own right, though weakened from her injuries. He realized that humans might have strength, ingenuity, and adaptability, but the Zolari had skills humans could only imagine. When they finally reached the hidden valley, a small, glowing river ran through it. Strange flora lined the banks, giving off soft light that illuminated the area. Elias knelt beside Lyra to help her down. This is safe? He asked. For now, she replied. It is hidden, protected by natural barriers and energy fields. The elders maintain it as a refuge. They will guide us further. Elias glanced around. The place was serene, almost peaceful, but he knew better. Danger lurked everywhere. Yet, amidst the beauty, he felt a sense of calm, a strange comfort in knowing that they had at least temporary safety. Lyra sat on a rock, her hands glowing faintly as she seemed to draw energy from the surroundings. Elias observed quietly, noting how her kind connected to the world differently. Humans survived by tools, by strategy, by ingenuity. The Scifi had harmony, connection, and precision. Together, he thought, they could form an unstoppable combination. After a long pause, Lyra looked at him. Captain Elias Kane, you must understand one thing. The bond we share is not just obligation. It is recognition. Humans are respected among my people not for strength alone, but for courage, creativity, and the ability to face the unknown. You embody that, and more. Do not underestimate what that means. Elias nodded, feeling a strange pride swell within him. I won't, I promise. I'll do whatever it takes to protect you. And I'll learn from your people, too. Together, we'll survive this. Lyra's eyes shone. Good, that is all I ask. Trust, courage, and effort. The rest will follow. Hours passed. Elias kept watch as Lyra rested, repairing minor injuries with a strange alien device that pulsed light over her wounds. He noticed how carefully she moved, even while weak, how she adapted to the environment, how her instincts guided her. Humans had survived countless worlds and battles, but here, he realized, adaptability alone would not suffice. Understanding, patience, and mutual respect were equally important. Night deepened. The stars above Varelia shone brighter, reflected faintly in the glowing river. Elias felt the weight of his mission, of the bond, and of the responsibility he now carried. Saving a life had changed everything. He was no longer a lone soldier on a mission. He was part of something larger, something that might shape the future of two species. Elias. Lyra whispered, breaking the silence. Do not fear what is to come. The bond is not punishment. It is honor, and it will guide us through the trials ahead. You will see. Elias looked at her, noting the steady determination in her eyes. I don't fear it, he said quietly. I just didn't expect my life to change like this. But I'll face it, and I'll face it with you. Lyra smiled faintly, a warmth in her expression that seemed to glow even more than the river. Then we are ready, she said. And as the night settled over Varelia, Captain Elias Kane realized that saving Princess Lyra had bound him to more than a single life. It had bound him to a purpose, a mission, and a future he had never imagined. The universe had opened a new path, and humans, he thought with quiet pride, had the courage and ingenuity to walk it. Outside, the winds whispered through the valley, carrying with them the distant sounds of movement. The first step of their shared journey was over, but the true challenges were only beginning. And for the first time, Elias felt not fear, but excitement or readiness to face the unknown. Alongside a princess who had become more than an ally, the bond was real, the pact was binding, and the adventure had only just begun. The hidden valley glowed softly under the light of Varelia's twin moons. Captain Elias Kane had spent the night keeping watch, but sleep came fitfully. He had learned that in alien worlds, even moments of peace were temporary. Every sound of shifting rock or whispering wind could signal danger. Princess Lyra stirred beside him, sitting on a rock near the glowing river. Her violet eyes seemed brighter in the moonlight, reflecting both intelligence and determination. Elias noticed how her injuries were healing, aided by the strange alien devices she carried. She was resilient, far beyond what any human might expect. Yet there was still weakness that reminded him how important his role had become. Captain. Lyra said quietly, we cannot stay here long. The sanctuary is safe, but only for a short time. My people, the elders, they will decide the next step, and there are those among them who will test you. Elias frowned. Test me? How? Lyra's expression was serious. The Scifi value loyalty, wisdom, and courage. Any human bound by a life pact is watched closely. They will observe your actions, your decisions, even your instincts. If you fail, they may question the bond. Elias exhaled, feeling the weight of her words. So this is like probation? Lyra tilted her head, a small smile playing at her lips. In a way, but more than that. Your kind has strengths unknown to my people. You survive in ways they cannot imagine. They will want to see proof of this. Proof that you can protect me and understand the responsibilities that come with the bond. He nodded slowly. I understand. I've survived worse before, and I'll prove myself. Lyra rose gracefully, her movements precise and controlled. Good, then we must go. The elders will guide us to the council. There, your first trial awaits. The journey to the elders' council was difficult. They traveled through narrow canyons, across glowing plains, and over rivers that shimmered under the twin moons. Elias noticed the way Lyra moved, confident despite her earlier injuries. Every step seemed deliberate, as if she could read the terrain better than any human scout. You are impressive, Elias said, trying to make conversation as they walked. Lyra looked at him briefly. Impressive, perhaps. But you're kind. Humans survive against impossible odds. That is what makes you remarkable. You adapt. You fight. You think differently. That is why you have earned the bond, and why the elders will watch you closely. Elias smiled faintly. I've always believed humans survive because we do not give up. Even when everything seems impossible, we find a way. That might be what surprises your people the most. Lyra nodded. It may, but you must remember our world is different. Here, patience and understanding are as important as courage and strength. Balance is key. When they reached the council chamber, Elias could feel the eyes of the Zolari elders on him even before he entered. The chamber was vast, circular, and filled with soft glowing light that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The elders were tall, regal, and unmistakably alien, their skin shimmering faintly in the light. Elias straightened his back, stepping forward with careful respect. Lyra walked beside him, guiding him toward the center. Captain Elias Kane. One elder spoke, his voice deep and resonant. You have saved Princess Lyra's life. The bond is formed, but your journey is not complete. You must prove that your courage and wisdom are worthy of this honor. Are you prepared to face the trials? Elias met their gaze steadily. I am. I will do whatever is required. The elders exchanged subtle glances. Very well, the lead elder said. Your first trial is not one of combat, but of judgment. You will witness a conflict among our people, one that requires negotiation, observation, and understanding. The human mind must see what the Zolari might overlook. Can you do this? Elias' mind raced. He had trained for battle, strategy, and survival, but diplomacy was a different challenge. Still, humans survive by learning quickly, by analyzing and adapting. He nodded. Yes, I can do that. Lyra placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Remember, Elias, observe, listen, understand. Your actions will determine how the elders view you. The trial began. Elias followed the elders into a large hall, where the factions of Zolari argued heatedly. Their voices were melodic but sharp, echoing off the walls. The dispute involved resource management, territorial boundaries, and the application of alien technology, matters humans might not fully grasp. But Elias listened carefully, observing patterns, tone, and intention. He noticed inconsistencies, subtle strategies, and hidden motives. Where one faction attempted to manipulate the situation with emotion, another relied on logic and precision. Elias recognized the parallels to human negotiation tactics. Using calm, concise reasoning, he spoke up when allowed. Respectful elders, he said, I see that both factions have merit, but compromise is possible if priorities are reassessed. The resources in question could be allocated based on need and strategy rather than possession. This ensures fairness and efficiency. The room fell silent. Zolari rarely heard such insight from an outsider. The elders whispered among themselves, and even the arguing factions paused. Considering his words, Lyra's eyes met his briefly. Well done, she whispered. Elias continued carefully, using logic and observation rather than force. Slowly, the factions began to accept a compromise that satisfied both sides. The elders nodded, some with subtle smiles. You have shown understanding and insight. The lead elder said, your human perspective has brought clarity where our own experience failed. This is the essence of the bond. You act not only with courage, but with wisdom that complements our ways. Elias felt a surge of pride. Humans were often underestimated, but here, His perspective had earned respect among a species far more advanced technologically and socially. His adaptability, courage, and ingenuity, the qualities that define humans, had made a difference. The trial was not over. The elders led him to another challenge, a test of loyalty. Lyra's status as princess had enemies within her own people, and Elias would have to act to protect her without knowing the full nature of the threats. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. The council chamber's energy field flickered as a hidden mechanism activated. A small group of Zalari nobles had attempted a coup, trying to separate Elias from Lyra and challenge the bond. Elias reacted instantly, positioning himself between Lyra and the approaching group. "Stay behind me," he commanded. Lyra moved quickly, not out of fear, but out of strategy, signaling Elias to focus on neutralizing the threat with minimal harm. Using a combination of human tactics and observation of the aliens' movement patterns, Elias created obstacles, redirected their momentum, and used energy pulses to disable their devices without serious injury. Within moments, the attempted coup was stopped. The elders observed quietly, impressed by his ability to protect Lyra, adapt to an unfamiliar threat, and avoid unnecessary harm. "You have proven loyalty, courage, and ingenuity," the lead elder said. "These trials are not simple combat, they are the essence of leadership, trust, and responsibility. You have met them with skill." Lyra's expression was one of relief and pride. "You see, the bond is honored through action, not just words. You have begun to earn the respect of my people, Elias." Elias exhaled, feeling the weight of the day's challenges lift slightly. "I didn't think saving a life would come with so many tests," he admitted with a wry smile. Lyra laughed softly. "In our world, every action has meaning. The bond is not just a contract, it is a demonstration of character. And you have shown yours." As the night deepened, Elias and Lyra walked to a quiet terrace overlooking the glowing valley. The twin moons reflected off the river, and the air was calm once more. "You have learned much today," Lyra said, "but this is only the beginning. There will be more trials, tests of mind, strategy, and courage. And yet, I believe in you. Your human qualities, they are remarkable." Elias looked out at the horizon. "I've learned that humans survive because we adapt, we think, and we face the unknown. But I've also learned that we can achieve more when we combine our strengths with others. With you, with your people. I think we can accomplish things neither could do alone." Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the river below. "Yes, Elias, together, we will face what comes next. The bond is not a burden, it is a partnership, and it will guide us through the challenges ahead." For the first time, Elias felt the full weight and honor of the bond. It was not simply duty, it was trust, respect, and a shared purpose. Humans had survived countless challenges because of ingenuity, courage, and adaptability, and now, those traits were recognized by a civilization far more advanced. As the night settled over Varelia, Elias Kane understood that his role as protector, ally, and partner to Princess Lyra had only just begun. The trials would continue, and the challenges would grow, but with courage, human ingenuity, and mutual respect, they could face anything the universe placed in their path. The bond was real, the trust was earned, and the adventure of humans and Zalari, bound together by honor and courage, was far from over. The valley's soft glow faded as dawn broke over Varelia. Captain Elias Kane and Princess Lyra had spent the night in quiet reflection, preparing for what they both knew would come, a confrontation that tested everything they had learned together. The alien forces hunting Lyra were relentless, and Elias understood that their ingenuity and strategy would be critical in the trials ahead. "Elias," Lyra said as they prepared to move, "the invaders are more organized than we anticipated. They have technology far beyond anything humans commonly use. But your approach, the human way of thinking, may give us an advantage they do not expect." Elias adjusted his armor and checked his rifle. "Then it's time to show them what humans can do when creativity and courage combine. We'll turn their strengths against them." Lyra nodded, a faint smile on her face. "Let us proceed. The elders have prepared the defense strategies, but your mind will shape the outcome." The journey to the Zolari capital was tense. Elias observed the terrain carefully, noting natural obstacles, energy readings, and potential ambush points. Lyra's people had advanced shields, energy grids, and weapon systems. Yet she encouraged Elias to find ways humans could complement these defenses. His mind raced, thinking of tactics that combined speed, unpredictability, and improvisation qualities humans excelled at. As they reached the outskirts of the capital, scouts brought urgent news. A full-scale invasion was approaching, faster and stronger than anticipated. Aliens equipped with heavy armor, advanced blasters, and energy wings moved toward the city with purpose. The Zolari defenses were formidable, but Elias quickly realized that a direct confrontation would be costly. "We need a plan that uses their expectations against them," Elias said, scanning the alien formations. "They expect conventional defense. We'll give them something unexpected." Lyra's violet eyes brightened with curiosity. "What do you propose?" Elias pointed to the jagged cliffs surrounding the city. "We can use the terrain, set traps that redirect them, channel their forces into narrow passes, and use energy pulses to disable their technology temporarily. It won't be conventional, but it will work." Lyra nodded, trusting his judgment. "Then let us proceed. Human ingenuity may be our greatest weapon." Elias led a small team of Zolari soldiers to prepare the defenses. Using alien technology in unconventional ways, he created energy grids that could confuse and redirect the attackers. He positioned reflective panels along the cliffs to amplify light pulses, temporarily blinding enemy sensors. Hidden pit traps were camouflaged with energy fields, ready to capture armored units without causing permanent harm. By the time the invasion force appeared on the horizon, Elias' preparations were nearly complete. The aliens advanced confidently, expecting a straightforward battle. Elias stood beside Lyra, watching the horizon. "Remember," he said, "patience and timing are everything. Wait for the right moment, then act decisively." The first wave of attackers reached the city gates. Confident in their strength, Elias activated the energy pulses from a hidden control station. Beams of concentrated light shot toward the attackers' sensors, causing confusion and forcing them to pause. The reflective panels amplified the pulses, creating disorientation among the enemy ranks. "They're faltering," Lyra observed, her voice calm but intense. "Human tactics. Effective," Elias smiled faintly. "Sometimes, being unpredictable is more powerful than being stronger." As the invaders regrouped, Elias activated another layer of the defense, the pit traps. Energy fields that had seemed like part of the landscape shifted, revealing hidden channels that captured enemy units without harm. The attackers struggled, their formations breaking under the pressure of both strategy and unfamiliar terrain. Lyra's soldiers moved alongside Elias, following his unconventional commands. They adapted quickly, impressed by his ability to combine human ingenuity with Zolari technology. "You are extraordinary," Lyra said quietly. "Your mind. It sees possibilities we often overlook." Elias nodded, focusing on the battlefield. Humans survive by thinking ahead, by noticing patterns, predicting behavior, and taking action when others hesitate. That's what's happening here. And it's working. The invaders attempted a direct assault on the central gate. Elias anticipated this and had prepared an ambush, using energy nets that ensnared the attackers' wings and immobilized their armor. Combined with focused non-lethal blasts, the invaders were quickly forced back. They had underestimated human tactics and the ingenuity of combining different species' strengths. In the midst of the battle, Elias noticed a smaller unit attempting to flank Lyra. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward them, using agility and clever maneuvering to intercept. With precise timing, he redirected their path into one of the energy traps he had prepared, neutralizing the threat without serious harm. Lyra's eyes widened in admiration. "You anticipate moves before they are made. It is remarkable." Elias shrugged. "Humans survive by expecting the unexpected, and by acting fast when the moment comes. That's what we do." Hours passed, and the battle raged on. But every action Elias had taken, every unconventional tactic, gave the Zolari defenders the advantage they needed. The invaders, despite superior technology, could not adapt quickly enough to counter the combined human-Zolari strategies. Finally, the invaders began retreating, their formations broken, their morale shaken. Elias watched as the last of the alien forces withdrew beyond the horizon, the red dust of Varelia swirling in their wake. Lyra approached him, her expression both relieved and impressed. "You have done it. Your human ingenuity. It saved not only my life, but the city and countless others. The elders will recognize this, the bond." Strengthened by action, Elias exhaled, feeling the weight of the day lift slightly. "We did it together. Your people's technology, combined with our adaptability. It's a combination no one expected. That's why it worked." Lyra smiled, a rare softness in her expression. "Yes, but your courage and quick thinking turned strategy into reality. Humans are remarkable. You are remarkable." Elias felt a warmth in his chest, not pride alone, but the quiet satisfaction of knowing that humanity's strengths, ingenuity, courage, and adaptability had made a real difference in an alien world. The bond with Lyra was no longer abstract or ceremonial. It had been tested, proven in action, and strengthened by shared victory. The elders of the Zolari arrived soon after, surveying the aftermath of the battle. Their faces, usually stoic and reserved, showed subtle signs of approval. They acknowledged Elias' contribution with nods and murmurs of respect. "You have done what few outsiders could achieve," the lead elder said. "Your human perspective has not only protected our people, but also enhanced our understanding of strategy. The bond you share with Princess Lyra is honored. You are now recognized as both protector and ally." Lyra placed a gentle hand on Elias' arm. "See, the bond grows stronger with every choice we make. Today, we acted together. Tomorrow, who knows what challenges await." Elias looked out at the horizon, the twin moons fading as the sun rose. "Tomorrow, we face whatever comes. But I know this: we humans survive. We adapt, we find solutions. And with you, Lyra, we can do more than survive. We can succeed." Lyra's smile widened, a mix of admiration and trust. "Then let us prepare. There will be more challenges, but we have proven ourselves today. Together, we are stronger than either alone." As the sun climbed higher over Varelia, casting light on the city that had survived an impossible attack, Elias realized that this victory was more than tactical. It was a testament to the human spirit, to ingenuity, and to the bond between a human soldier and an alien princess. For Captain Elias Kane, saving Princess Lyra had transformed his life. And now, using human courage, intelligence, and adaptability, he had shown an entire civilization that humans could not only survive in the stars but thrive, lead, and inspire. The bond was no longer simply ceremonial. It was proven through action, forged in trials, and strengthened by shared triumph. And as Elias stood beside Lyra, watching the city come to life after the battle, he understood something profound. Humans had a place in the universe, not as conquerors, but as allies, innovators, and protectors, and this was only the beginning. The skies over Varelia glowed with soft hues of orange and purple as the twin suns rose, signaling a new day. The city that had survived an impossible invasion now buzzed with cautious optimism. Captain Elias Kane stood on a high balcony beside Princess Lyra, looking down at the streets below. For the first time since arriving on this alien world, he allowed himself a moment of calm. "Elias," Lyra said softly, her violet eyes reflecting the morning light, "your actions during the battle, they have changed the way my people see humans, not just as allies, but as equals. You have proven that courage, ingenuity, and honor transcend worlds." Elias adjusted his armor and looked at her. "I only did what I had to. Humans survive by facing the impossible and finding solutions. But I didn't expect it to make such a difference here." Lyra smiled. "You underestimated yourself. And yet, you also remind us of what we sometimes forget, that adaptability and creativity can overcome even the greatest challenges. Today, the bond between us and between our people has become stronger than ever." The bond. Elias had spent so much time learning what it meant. It had started as an obligation, a consequence of saving Lyra's life. but over weeks of trials, battles, and shared danger, it had grown into something deeper: trust, respect, and partnership. The elders arrived soon after, moving with their usual grace and authority. Their expressions were solemn, yet there was an unmistakable warmth as they acknowledged Elias. "Captain Elias Kane," the lead elder said, his deep voice echoing across the balcony. "You have demonstrated not only bravery and skill, but also wisdom, loyalty, and integrity. You have earned the highest respect of the Zeleri people. The bond you share with Princess Lyra is no longer merely ceremonial. It is recognized as a true partnership, honored by all." Elias inclined his head in respect. "Thank you, elders. I only did what I thought was right. Princess Lyra's life and the safety of her people mattered. Humans survive by standing for what is right, even in the face of danger." The elder nodded. "That is precisely why your actions resonate with our people. They remind us that courage, when combined with intellect and compassion, can shape the future." Lyra turned to Elias, her expression a mixture of admiration and warmth. "Do you see, Elias? The bond is not just rules or rituals. It is recognition of character. Your character. Together, we have proven its value." Elias smiled, feeling a sense of pride and purpose he had never known. "Then we face the future together, Lyra. Whatever comes, we will meet it side by side." The days that followed were filled with rebuilding and preparation. The city recovered from the attack, and the Zeleri and humans worked together, combining technology and strategy in ways neither species had attempted before. Elias became not just a protector, but a teacher, sharing human tactics while learning the subtle arts of Zeleri planning, diplomacy, and energy manipulation. Through it all, the bond between Elias and Lyra grew stronger. It was no longer an obligation, it was a mutual understanding, a promise that each would support and protect the other, not because of duty alone, but because of trust. One afternoon, while walking through the restored city, Elias noticed the way the citizens regarded him, not with fear or suspicion, but with respect. Humans, in their stories and history, were often underestimated by alien species. Here, however, he realized that adaptability, ingenuity, and courage were qualities that transcended worlds. Humans were capable of leadership, problem-solving, and heroism in ways that commanded attention, even admiration, from an advanced civilization. Lyra walked beside him, noticing his observations. "You see, Elias, your people's qualities, resourcefulness, courage, intelligence are valued here. You have shown that humans can contribute not just as allies, but as innovators and protectors." Elias chuckled softly. "I've always known humans survive by thinking differently, but seeing it recognized by another species, it's something else entirely." Their peace was not merely personal. It represented a larger truth, that humanity could stand among the stars, not as conquerors, but as equals, respected for the very traits that had carried them across countless worlds. The next challenge came in the form of diplomacy. Representatives from neighboring alien civilizations arrived to observe the bond between Elias and Lyra. They were skeptical, expecting friction between human and Zeleri methods. But what they witnessed was cooperation, strategy, and trust. Elias' ability to think creatively, combined with Lyra's experience and calm leadership, impressed the visiting delegates. "You demonstrate remarkable coordination," one alien envoy remarked. "Your people's approach, unconventional yet effective, inspires confidence." Elias nodded. "Humans survive by solving problems in ways others may not consider. When combined with your technology and insight, we can accomplish great things." Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "Together, we prove that bonds are stronger than divisions, that cooperation can overcome fear, uncertainty, and even conflict." Weeks passed, and the city thrived. Humans and Zeleri trained together, shared ideas, and explored joint projects that neither could have managed alone. Elias became a symbol not only of courage, but of what humans could offer to the galaxy: ingenuity, adaptability, and the unwavering spirit to overcome challenges. One evening, as the twin suns set and the valley glowed in soft shades of orange and pink, Lyra turned to Elias. Do you remember when you first saved me? How uncertain everything was." Elias nodded. "I do. I didn't know what I was stepping into. But now I understand. The bond was never just about protection. It was about trust, partnership, and discovering what humans and Zeleri can achieve together." Lyra smiled softly. "And now, the bond has grown beyond obligation. It is choice, honor, and respect. You are not here because of duty alone. Elias, you are here because you earned it. And because I trust you completely." Elias felt a warmth in his chest. "And I trust you, Lyra, not just because of the bond, but because of who you are. You've shown strength, wisdom, and courage beyond anything I expected. Together, we're stronger." The bond, once a formal obligation, had evolved into a genuine partnership. Humans and Zeleri, once strangers with different methods and cultures, had discovered the power of cooperation. Elias' ingenuity had complemented Lyra's experience, creating a bridge between worlds. The elders called a formal assembly to acknowledge the bond. Citizens gathered, aliens and humans alike, to witness the recognition of Elias' role not just as a protector, but as a partner in leadership and strategy, Captain Elias Kane. The lead elder said before the assembly, "Your actions have saved lives, strengthened our society, and proven that courage and intellect are qualities that transcend species. The bond you share with Princess Lyra is a symbol of unity, honor, and respect. Let it guide our people into the future." Elias stood tall, beside Lyra. "I am honored. I will continue to protect, to serve, and to learn. And together, we will face whatever challenges come, human and Zeleri, side by side." The crowd erupted in a mixture of cheers and melodic applause. Humans and Zeleri alike recognized the significance of what had been achieved. A bond forged through action, tested in battle, and strengthened by trust later. As the city settled into calm, Elias and Lyra walked through the restored streets. Citizens waved and offered greetings, no longer seeing him as an outsider, but as a valued ally. Children followed, curious about the human who had stood alongside their princess. Surviving and thriving through courage and ingenuity, Lyra looked at him with quiet pride. The bond has shown that humans are capable not only of survival, but of leadership, creativity, and honor. "You have changed our perception, Elias. You have changed our future." Elias smiled. "And you've shown me that bonds are not chains, they are trust, partnership, and shared purpose. Humans survive by acting together when it matters most. Now, I see that we can do even more when we act with others who share our goals." As the twin moons rose in the night sky, casting a gentle glow over the city, Elias Kane realized the truth of it all. Saving a life had been the beginning, but proving his courage, intelligence, and adaptability had been the real journey. The bond with Princess Lyra was no longer duty, it was choice, respect, and honor. Together, humans and Zeleri would face the future. Together, they would explore the stars, confront challenges, and create a legacy built on courage, ingenuity, and unity. And for Captain Elias Kane, the human soldier who had only wanted to assist, the journey had transformed him. He was no longer just a protector. He was a partner, a symbol, and a bridge between worlds. The bond was real, the honor was recognized, and the adventure of humanity among the stars had only just begun. The universe was vast, full of unknown dangers and possibilities, but Elias and Lyra would face it together, united by choice, bound by honor, and guided by trust. In that moment, standing beside the princess, Captain Elias Kane felt a deep sense of purpose and belonging. Humanity's courage, adaptability, and ingenuity had not only saved a life, they had reshaped a world, strengthened a civilization, and forged a bond that would endure across time and space. The stars above Varelia twinkled as if in approval. The journey had been long, the trials many, but the future bright, limitless, and full of promise. Awaited. And together, they would rise to meet it.